Hi, everybody. Let's get through the Chapter 9 problem solve. So you can see on my screen, I have open the Excel file that is downloaded from the Chapter 9 problem solve. It's called Sports Customers, and I'm ready to go. I'm on the sheet. I'm actually going to click my mouse so that it is ready in cell A2, because we're going to go get data and we're going to bring it in. So I'm going to click on A2 to have that ready, waiting to go. Now, up at the top, go ahead and click the Data tab. Way over on the left-hand side, we're going to say Get Data. Okay, so let's check the instructions. Step 2 says, data has been provided in an Access database. Okay, great. So from here, I'm going to choose From Database, from Microsoft Access Database. And I have downloaded all of the files from the MyLab system. So here on my screen, you can see I have the database Sports Customers, the database Sports Customers. And I know it's a database because it's got the little red icon for an Access database. And over here, it tells me it's a Microsoft Access database. That's the type of file it is. I'm going to give that a double click. All right, and then we can probably guess that we're going to have to transform the data. And if you read the instructions, it tells us, yep, we're going to do a lot of transforming of the data. So you'll also remember from the chapter, a database is like a toy box. It's got lots of different kinds of objects in it. And here I see the two objects. Now the instructions do not tell us which one of the two. If you preview them, they look identical. So I'm going to go ahead with the query. I'm going to click the QRY customer. And then, oh, sorry, it's off my screen, but on your screen at the lower right-hand corner, click Transform. That'll open the next window where we'll get to work and do a lot of transforming the data. And as always, we're going to just be patient, waiting for these windows to load. Oops, mine's on my other screen. I'm going to have to wait for it to load, and then I'll pull it over. Here it comes, slowly working. All right, while that's cooking away, oh gosh, that's not what I want. Here we go, come on. There we go. So while that's loading, I'm going to check my instructions. Step 2 says using Get and Transform, go get the Sports Customers database. Step 3 says the names provided in the database need to be cleaned up, blah, blah, blah. So it says use clean and trim to remove the extra spaces and non-printable characters from the customer name column. All right, let's do it. I'm going to click once on customer name from the home tab. Let me make this a little bit bigger. I always have to remember where stuff is. I don't know why I can never remember. How about under the Transform tab? There we go, under the Transform tab. In the middle, click Text Column, click Formats, and let's start with Trim. Go ahead and click on Trim. Trim is going to get rid of the non-printable... Trim is going to get rid of the extra spaces. We'll let that run. Okay, we're still active on the column. Perfect. Go to that same spot. Text column, format. This time choose clean. Clean will get rid of the non-printable characters. All right. Okay, what do we do next? Some of the names are in lowercase and need to be converted. So one more time, we're going to click on text column, format, and we're going to choose capitalize each word. And we can see this if you quickly want to look at, for example, record 4, the last name is lowercase. So we're going to choose capitalize each word, and then we'll clean up these names. Oh, they're looking good. This is awesome. All right, that was step 3. Step 4 says, in order, blah, 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 separate the names into new columns, first name and last name. All right, we can do this. You can actually do this in lots of different ways. One of the ways, the way I'm going to do it, is I'm going to click Add Column up in the ribbon, Add Column, Column from Examples, and then from Selection. I can say from selection because I'm still active on customer name. All right, now the way we learned in the chapter is I'm going to start typing. I'm going to start with, do we want first name first? So I'm going to start with first name. So I'm going to type Jeremy because in this record, his name is Jeremy. I'm going to type it exactly as shown. And then I'm going to, on my keyboard, I'm going to press enter. that will load up all the other first names. They're in gray. Look closely. They're there. When you see all those other names, go ahead and click OK. And we'll let that column load. And then we're going to do that exact same thing for the last name. So go ahead and do that exact same thing for the last name. Oh, sorry, be active on customer name. Now we're ready. All right, Dunlop. Okay, get that in there. And then in step 4, it says rename the columns to be first name. So, oops, this is my last name column, sorry. Rename the columns to be first name and last name and rename them properly. First name. In each case, in each of the columns, all of the words are capitalized, so it's first name and there's a space in between. And you can look at the instructions on step 4. First name, capitalized, space in between, then last name, capitalized. All right, step 4, oops, sorry about that. Step 4 says delete the customer name column. So I got to scroll to the left, and I'm going to right click on customer name, and I'm going to choose remove. Okay, now it says remove any extra spaces that may have been created. I'm going to look at record 5 and 8. In the first name, do you see there's little extra spaces there? You know how to do it. We just did it. So I'm telling you, remove the extra spaces. Go ahead and do it. You know how to do it. We just did it. Go ahead and remove those extra spaces. And you can do it for the first name and the last name if you want, just to be extra careful. Go through and see if there's any extra spaces from first name and last name. And then the last part of step 4 says sort the data by first name. So it's a regular column. You know how to work this. We didn't do it in the chapter, but it's no sweat. You know how to do this. Click the down arrow next to the column heading and click Sort Ascending. Sort the data by first name. It doesn't say ascending, but typically that's what we mean when we say sort it. Sort it A to Z, so sort ascending. Okay, now let's keep moving on. We got a lot more to do in this window. Step 5 says, on the Add Column tab in the General group, use Column from Examples to separate the street address. For example, okay, all right, I tell you what, all right, so let's look at the address column. So here on my screen and on your screen as well, you should be able to see the address column. We have the entire address all chunked together. So P.O. Box, San Fidel, New Mexico. And then we have, boy, I don't know how to say these streets. Let's go down and look at record number 7. 5775 Metus Road, apartment 270. So what we're going to notice is that the street address is highly variable. One person has a P.O. box. The number person is on has a house number on a street or a road or an Ave. And then we have an apartment number. So I am going to vary. I'm going to deviate from the instructions. I am not going to use column from example. Having tried it, I do not get it to flash fill properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say separate column, or split column. I'm going to use the split column command. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click the address column to make it active. Under the Home tab, in the middle, I'm going to choose the split column command, and then hang on for just a second. Notice that preceding every city name is a space. So we might think, oh, we could say the space is our delimiter, but wait, there are spaces in other places, right? So space might not be a good one. Now look again, preceding that, or you could think of it as after the street address is a comma. Oh, so maybe we could use a comma as our delimiter. All right, so we're going to say click by delimiter. Now we're ready. Now we're ready to get to work. We're going to let that next window load, and we're going to see that Excel recognizes the comma. Yay, Excel! Thanks for being so super smart. Recognizes the comma. We're ready to go. Let's go ahead and click OK. Now remember, we're using the split column. We're not saying create a new column. So now look, we have address 1 and address 2. And if you look at step 5, we now have the column that step 5 wants us to have, street address. So I'm going to rename this column street address. All right, now let's move on to step 6. Step 6 says, step 6 says, use the column from examples transformation to separate out the city. Okay, and now this'll work because look at the pattern. It's exactly the same. It's always the city and then the state initials. So this'll work. So click the column that currently says address 2, click add column, column from examples, from selection. And we've already done it on this assignment. Go ahead and type the city name, San Fidel. You don't need the space, just San Fidel. Press enter. They all load up, all the city names load up. Go ahead and click OK. Step 6 says to rename the new column city. And then we have to go back over to the address number 2 column. And we have to do that same thing again to get the state. So we're moving on to step 7. So click address 2, click column under add column tab, click column from examples, from selection, type NM, press enter, all of the states fill in, click OK, rename that new column state. All right. Now in the instructions in step 8, it says delete the address column, which we get to do. We don't need it anymore. Ours is called address 2. Go ahead and remove it. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose remove. All right, keeping on step 8 in the instructions, it says, so we delete the address column. Done. Arrange the renamed columns in the following order. First name, last name. Okay, first name, last name. Then street address. So I'm going to click, hold on street address. I'm going to drag it over so it's after last name. Then release your mouse. Okay, so in order. First name, last name, street address, city. I got to scroll a little bit. City, state. Oh, perfect. Load the customer database worksheet in cell A2. Let's do it. From the Home tab, click the Close and Load arrow, click Close and Load to. We'll let that next window load. Somebody play the Jeopardy music, please. All right, here's my little window. So I'm going to load it up to the existing worksheet. And for us, it'll say A2 because that's where we clicked before we started. Smart thinking. Go ahead and click OK. Done. Where's that Jeopardy music when we need it? Come on, Aaron Rodgers, give me some Jeopardy. Loading, loading, loading. When it's loaded, that's step 8. That's step 8. Step 9 says, save and close Excel. Submit your file. Exciting stuff. All right, you go ahead and go for it. Save, load it. Let me know how you did. Email me if you have any questions. Good luck.